Hey everybody, so I'm out on the public trail, the one near my town, so I'm not like super far away from the house, and the reason for that is it kind of looks like I got like 20 minutes to an hour till it pours down rain, so I figured I would, I needed to get out, I needed some air, and figured I'd shoot a video. And there's actually something I want to talk about for, I don't know, about 2 weeks now maybe. And I just didn't do it. Like, it slipped my mind while I was doing a video because either something else was on my mind or I just straight up forgot. I don't know. But anyways, I'm going to try to cover this for this whole walk. Squirrel. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's on the power line. And that guy's nimble. And I don't expect to run into anybody, so this might be a pretty smooth video. As long as no trains come by or anything, it's gonna be annoying. And all right. So you know how I did a video on like what I do in like a zombie apocalypse? Well, I have another pretty crazy sci-fi-ish kind of theory that I kind of wanted to talk about. And the reason I'm bringing this up is a few weeks ago, I arbitrarily brought up the idea of eternal life, like immortality. And I actually went into my theory in depth with a kid that watches my videos. He Discords me sometimes, and I went in depth with my theory because I truly believe that as what I know might not be possible, but I truly believe at some point in the future it could be very possible. And it might already be possible. So, I mean, the way I look at it is, the technology that I have access to is probably 20 years behind technology like the government has access to. So, it might sound like a crackpot conspiracy theory kind of idea, but it's probably true whether you want to believe it or not. So, I mean, unless there's like freelance scientific kind of people out there that are, you know, above the government or have technology that surpasses the government, I like to believe that the government's probably 20 years ahead of the general public. Like, when we were playing Xbox 360, they had the VR headsets kind of mentality. Now, I'm not sure. It doesn't really pertain too much to this theory, but I just wanted to keep it in perspective of how possible this might actually be. So my theory on immortality, all right? Let me preface this by saying I'm not a scientist. Like, I believe with confidence that I could teach 7th grade biology and chemistry. I might have to brush up on the fundamentals, but I believe without a shadow of a doubt I could teach 7th grade chemistry and biology. So that's about where my skill level is. Like right now, I could probably pass, not with like, you know, 4.0 GPA, but I could probably pass like 12th grade chemistry and biology tests right now without even brushing up, because it was a subject that interests me. I don't think I'm college level, like to take a test in a college level environment. I don't think I'm college level, but I think with confidence I could still pass 12th grade biology and chemistry, and I could probably teach 7th grade biology and chemistry. So keep that in mind when I'm telling you what I'm telling you. Here comes the train, go figure. You know what, I'll be back in a minute. Alright, the train engine's pretty far away now, so it's not super loud. And I put you on my good side. So, here's what I think, right? So, in order for the human body to move, right, it's controlled by primarily the nervous system, which is primarily attached to the brain. And the brain, the way it operates as far as I know, is that synapses fires giving off small electrical impulses which tell the brain to tell the body what to do. So, in theory, the brain controls the motor function of the body, but does the electrical impulses stem as far as personality? So, of course, this is theory because my scientific knowledge isn't that vast. Like I said, I like science. No professional. Anyways. So, depending on where the electrical impulses are in the brain, the frequency and the intensity and the sector controls thought, emotion, bodily functions, and I'm sure this is in combination with chemistry and hormones, which can also be replicated. So if, let's say, we have some sort of, I can't remember what it's called that measures wattage and amperage, but we have something that's way more fine-tuned. Like, can figure out the degree of wattage and amperage to, like, the millionth decimal place. Like, something super crazily insane, right? And we can replicate brain tissue or different hormones and fluids with stem cell research or whatever, right? So, anyways, to my theory, right? If a computer program can replicate somebody's brain functions to a T, we could effectively recreate a person. What they are, like, personality-wise, if it could be replicated. So, I'm kind of stumbling over this more than I thought I'd be. When I typed it out, it wasn't that hard, because, I could just type it out. Now that I'm talking about it, it's harder to really explain. I don't want to say things in the wrong way, because then I sound like a moron. So if you had, like, neuro headgear, some sort of computer chip, or whatever, that could measure your brain activity for an extended period of time, and then have a computer program replicate that, you could essentially take your consciousness and put it into, let's say, an android spiderweb. But you could essentially take your consciousness and put it into something like an android. So then you would technically be, immortal. What makes you would be in a permanent body. Now, in order for it to grow, in order for it to be more than what you already was, I was considering it being transferred. Like, you take your human consciousness, your brain rhythm, your synapses activity, your brainwave activity, whatever you want to call it, the electrical impulses, recreate it, find a comatose patient or a baby, and implant this chip or brain thing that would replicate what the brain should be doing to recreate your own personality in a new vessel. Kind of like some magic anime crap with, like, soul switching or something. Captain Ginyu off Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, Captain Ginyu off Dragon Ball Z. Something sort of like that. except more scientific and less magic. So you would take a newborn's brain, a vegetable's brain, somebody's brain that doesn't have activity, and you could train it to have the same brain pattern activity as somebody that's already been alive, that you have recorded. And then the person's brain activity that was there prior would cease to exist or eventually merge with the new brainwave activity, thus creating growth in a new person. I haven't quite worked out how you would completely suppress another brain activity to input your own, to completely have you as you and grow as you, and, you know, become literally immortal with no side effects of being changed by another person, like Dragon Ball Z with Boo, you know? So, Boo on Dragon Ball Z would absorb somebody, right? And you take on some of their traits. So, if this computer program could replicate the human psyche and put it into a clean android robot, it could maintain what it is up until the point that the brain stopped functioning. But I don't know if it would be able to grow on its own like an AI. Like a fully developed AI that could, you know, grow upon its environment. But if you find a living, breathing vessel and you implant somebody else's consciousness into it, I would envision there being either the dominant personality, the dominant brain activity would ultimately win out, or they would merge, in which either one would create independent growth. So if they merge, you wouldn't technically be immortal, so to speak, because you'd have influences from whatever you're going into. But if you were the dominant personality and you took over the person's physical being, presto, immortality, you know? Every time you got to the age of 40, just pop into a young, fresh body, you know, find some baby somewhere, boom, find some kid that, you know, mom got scarlet fever during pregnancy and the baby's brain got overheated, it became brain dead. Train it to do, you know, like the electrical impulses, if possible, if the damage wasn't like, yeah, well, yeah, you get what I'm saying. If the brain's healthy enough to do the function, train it to do the function, and that person would then be immortal. So, kind of like, the reason I think about this so much is kind of like when I made a video before, and I said it's been like somebody removed my memories, took out the parts they didn't like, and then put them back in with filler. Like, that's kind of how I feel a lot of times. Like everything about me was taken away. Whatever somebody didn't like got removed, and it got replaced with filler. And that's what gets me thinking about stuff like this. Like, how would that be possible? Unless I was a computer program that could be altered that easily, how would I alter somebody's consciousness? Or how would I be able to change a state of being on a biological level? And this is what I came up with, you know? If the brain activity could be replicated, and a brain could be trained to replicate the same patterns, essentially, you could live forever. Tell me what you think. Tell me if I explained that good, because I know I stammered a good bit. But, I mean, doing these videos, I don't write this crap down. Like, it's off the top of my head. It's what I think, you know? So, my thoughts ain't always concise. So, if something came across as completely ridiculous, then, shoot me a comment. Tell me what you think about it, you know? I tried to explain this theory to this kid that Discords me and watches my videos, and he said it's above his pay grade to understand it. And I don't know. I think he's like 16, so I would think he would know about simple brain function, but I don't know what kind of life he has with school and stuff. So and it is like I said, it's a very sci-fi theory. It's one of those things that's, if it were to happen, that's how I think it would happen. Like zombies. If zombies were gonna happen, I think it would be rabies. A human strain of rabies. That's just what I think. Having literal human corpses running around, I don't see that happening. Having people infected with some mad cow disease or rabies that just go straight up psycho and start eating people, I can see that being a possibility. Another theory I always had was something like Russian sleeper agent-esque. Like, you take a guy, you torture him, you beat him, you starve him, you throw him in a room, force him to watch videos for hours upon hours upon hours until he has that brain thing where he's like, okay, this is how life is now. And I always thought that would be less predictable and more messy. Not to mention disgusting and inhumane, but I always thought if to alter somebody's consciousness, that would be another way of doing it. Which then circles around to why I dislike the military. Because it's a form of indoctrination. It changes your behavior to what somebody else wants. Like, that's something that always bothered me. You know, here in America, you can be what you want to be. Unless you want to be a soldier, then you're what I want you to be. Which, I mean, to a degree, I understand it. Because it's like, you want somebody that's going to follow orders. You want somebody that's going to act a certain way. You don't want somebody that's going to be, you know, flip off their rocker and start friendly firing or something. Like, I understand it in a way. But at the same time, I don't understand it. And then, you know, if you're fighting to stop something like that, if you're fighting to stop other countries mistreating their people or mistreating prisoners of war, why would you do it to your own people? Even if it's less severe, it's still, to me personally, what I heard about military training sounds like a form of torture. But I looked into Marines once, and I took it into consideration as a way to progress my life. And, well, obviously that didn't work out. And I'm kind of glad, because like I said, some of the methods and some of the reasons we fight, I am highly against. So, that's that. Alright, almost out of here. I think I rambled long enough. Yeah, just, let me know what you think. And, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Like, could you imagine playing Call of Duty? Like, even the older Call of Duties, like, straight up full dive. Like, straight up VR full dive. Like, being able to akimbo, like, some sort of Uzi, and being able to aim in 2 different directions at once. That would change gameplay, like, altogether.